everybody. I think I do my best videos when my blood is up, and my blood is up at the moment. We had a really good friend here in the week who I hadn't seen for a while, and he came to us from France and said he'd really missed my YouTube videos lately because he would listen to them during the day. So he's encouraged me, I have to do a YouTube video every day. So here I am. If I do and you go on YouTube, will you please like, subscribe and get the algorithms going? But I think what's important, and I want to tell you, is that I've had 1 or 2 weeks with entire family staying here. The house has been full, which is quite unusual because I've been on my own here for nearly a year. So I've been tied up with a whole variety of things and I haven't had the opportunity to do videos. But I think I was reprimanded and here I am. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, get off my chest, is that Ayoub's just been to see me and he was contacted by somebody on a French phone. It was a Moroccan who clearly lived in France, who there was an injured donkey down in the Medina or wherever. And would he, could we help? And I said, I will come to get it. But he had to do certain things first. We have a big refuge here to run. And he got a phone call and they said, why aren't you here? And he said, look, I have other things to do and then I will come down. And they actually shouted at him and told him not to bother. They would find another refuge. Good luck to them, I say. So I've just phoned them and given them down the banks. Of course, we'd never turn anyone away, as you know we don't. But we are 24 kilometres outside Marrakesh. We have nearly 400 here to look at the moment, unlimited staff. And Ayoub can't be everywhere at the click of a finger. So people have got to be reasonable. And I'm sure those of you who support us really do understand that. The other thing I want to tell you is what's happened lately. I got a phone call day before yesterday from someone in Marrakesh, the other side of Marrakesh. And it was a woman, and she told me that an old man in that area had died. And he'd had a dog for many years. The dog was very old and it was turned out into the streets and it couldn't cope. She'd been trying to feed it. So I gave her, we don't rescue dogs here, as you know, but I gave her the details of dog rescues. She tried everybody and no one could take it. And I got a real sort of feeling about this dog. So I contacted her and said, look, the dogs we have here are dogs that have arrived, but they're our pet dogs. They're not part of the charity because we're not licensed to take dogs. So none of the charity money goes on the dogs. We feed those and look after them ourselves. But I said, I can't bear the thought of this dog who's lost its master, will be terrified, not know what's happened. And Ayoub went to get it last night. It is the most adorable, adorable dog. It's a Belty dog. It's very old. Doesn't bark. It just wants to be stroked and comforted. It's come here and settled in very well. It's eating. The other dogs have accepted it. And I'm sure you would agree that was the right thing to do. I couldn't bear the thought of this old man dying and not knowing what was going to happen to his dog. So I think that's what we're all about. We're about linking the community with their care for animals, and we do whatever we can to help where we can. Which takes me on to the next thing, because I heard sort of wonderful news really, that Sally up at SFT in Tangier, who does a lot of work in Tangier with saving street dogs, sterilising them, releasing them back into the community and getting the community to care. I heard this morning she is travelling abroad to speak to other countries about how they could do the same. That's what we're all about. And here in Morocco, the 3 charities I know are absolutely authentic. And when I say that, we comply with Moroccan law. So we submit all returns at the end of every month. Ourselves, Sally up at SFT, and Michelle Osberger down in Agadir. And Michelle has contacted me to tell me there are some more horses in the pound. And I think we will have to go and get those horses. So we're back to our load increasing here all the time. We have no choice. And those of you that support me and donate would not expect me to turn equines in distress away at the gate. So we've been very lucky because we partnered with NFA, Network for Animals. They're an international charity and they're not registered here in Morocco. So they were very concerned about the Kalesh horses, but they can't do very much if they're not an association here. But they've linked with us, which is fabulous. And they've been great. And they've raised some money to help us build new stables, for which we are very grateful, because this month it's getting close to Christmas. The budget has taken place in the UK. People are very concerned, and I understand that absolutely. So this month our donations were really down. I'm not criticising anyone. On Instagram, for example, we didn't get the donations we usually get. So all I want to say to you is, we try to be ethical, we try to be transparent. We are so grateful for those of you that have supported us. And, you know, if you could encourage another person to send just a little bit each month, it helps towards the food, more housing, vet bills, etc. And I'll talk about more of that in another video, because we do have plans for next year. I'm always going on about our plans, but the reality is we try to do what is right each day, and everything takes place after that. But I have a very good American friend here who is organising, and we support her to the hilt, a fundraising event here in April in the spring, and it'll be up there, you know, we'll all wear evening dress, it'll be a cocktail party, and we'll get some significant people and hope to raise quite a bit of money. And any of you who are here, you're very welcome to come. We've had some wonderful visitors recently, amazing. I had two ladies from France who live in Paris, but they have a house in the Palmerie. And they bought sacks of carrots for our donkeys. They were wonderful, made a huge donation. We had yesterday someone from Birmingham. They were a couple, and one was a doctor of Chinese origin. She was Chinese, lived in Hong Kong, trained as a doctor in Manchester, and now worked in Birmingham. And her partner, who was a firefighter, a good old-fashioned trade unionist, so we had a lot in common. And that was a wonderful visit. We so welcome these visits and the people that we meet. And of course, they give us our authenticity. They can tell you that when they came, it was exactly what I put on social media. I've just spoken to Ayub after I lost my rag over the man who said he's going to look for another refuge. I just spoke to Ayub and I asked about him going to pick up this dog yesterday. And I explaining to others it was a lady in Marrakesh. And he said, no, she wasn't a lady. They were 3 young girls. Isn't that magic? 3 young girls who clubbed together and really put a bit of pressure on me to help them. And I sent her some photographs of the dog last night, and I got the most lovely message back about humanity, and they respected what we did for humanity, and they wish there were more people in the world like that. So what I'm saying is there are lots of people like us, and what we do here is not just about saving donkeys, it's about humanity. It's about doing the ethical, the right thing, linking with the community. We're olive picking at the moment. We've got a huge crop. We've got local people in, all helping, and that we're going to market next year. I've ideas for next year while I can still speak. You know, I haven't got much longer left, and I have to get around. I have to get to different cities, the UK, New York, Morocco, and so on, and spread the word about what ethical care really is. I don't disparage other refuges. Someone blamed me for doing that the other day because I said I wanted to set up a group of charities that were truly ethical, and the money was not going into big salaries, overheads, admin costs, but to where they belong. We have a link with someone in Bulgaria, and now I hope to have someone with a link in Palestine. And immediately someone contacted me and said, you know, I don't like charities who disparage others. I wasn't. But they said, You say you're not taking money out of the charity. You're very lucky then, because how do you feed your family? We feed our family because we live off our pensions and we work with the community, and we will not be put off by people like that. We investigated them and we found they're based in New York. They've never done anything to save animals. They had a conference and they charged huge amount for tickets, and that's the only money they ever raised, and it all went in expenses. But what was interesting, because I have a huge team here who are wonderful, they were able to identify that they had links with another charity here who may be thinking, I wish we could be as successful as they are. If you want to be as successful as we are, do the right thing. Don't just keep asking for money, but not telling people what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why you need their help. Because we are committed to Morocco, we're committed to the working equines, and I will never give up. So goodbye for now, everybody. Expect more of these YouTube videos. Bye for now.